today's cup of coffee, I found a subject that is, I usually choose things that are interesting or I wouldn't be discussing them because some of these things take a bit of research. Some of the quick ones from Mysterious Universe, I still will use the ones that I think are interesting. It's not just like, oh, let's talk about this shit. You know?
Yeah.
But some topics are of more, rather than using the word interest about 15 times more. Intriguing. That sounds good. You can be my thesaurus today.
I need a thesaurus. I would love a thesaurus. That was the only class that I did well in was English.
You did very well in English. And kids got a little bit of a challenge. He helped me greatly today. And he vacuumed and cleaned and stuff because with the kidney stone and other issues, you know, the damn thing's trying to move. Prayers are appreciated because I do not intend to go to the hospital and have any kind of procedure that's going to require them, first of all, that's invasive. Second of all, that it requires them jabbing anything up my nose for stupid reasons. You know. Yeah. So that's the reason I'm trying to use herbal blends to hopefully break the thing down enough to where it can be passed. So if kid's a little snuffy, that's all right. He's worked very hard.
It's allergies. He
has horrible allergies. He's used everything that he can think of, and they're still just crazy.
Like, shoot, I took both Flonase and that other nose spray that you can just get at Walmart, whatever.
Right.
I used mucus relief, that whatever that is.
It's generic. It's generic Mucinex.
I took my allergy medicine. I took Sudafed. Nothing is kicking this.
So if you hear sniffing, it's okay.
And if there's random cuts, it's because of me.
Well, they'll never know about the random cuts. It doesn't matter. Me personally, I felt like a slug all day long.
Yeah.
And I've had to heat up this 1 cup of coffee about 5 times because I'll sit it down and just look. Bless.
Oh, I tried.
It's okay. It's okay. These people have heard people sneeze before. Anyhow.
Speaking of random cuts.
They're not random unless I forget to edit them out. And that does occasionally, that goes with my mental function, which is not good today, but it'll be all right. We're going to work through this. We're going to press through. And if I have my random coffee slurps, that's all right.
Oh, shit, I forgot my water. Whatever, it's fine.
So today is going to be talking about the heart's electromagnetic field. And how this came into being was our buddy Omega had shown up yesterday. We were glad he was alive. We had actually checked the obituaries. We had checked to make sure he wasn't in jail. We couldn't check the hospitals.
Yeah.
But he was kind enough. He said that he had been around somebody that had the coof and that he had isolated himself for 15 days because he was concerned about spreading anything to anybody. And that is honorable.
Yeah.
So we appreciated him. But he has had a hell of a lot of medical, we're talking severe medical issues.
He's had heart surgery.
The man shouldn't be alive, but he is, and we're grateful that he is. But yes, after he had open heart surgery, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind, it's not a HIPAA thing with him, that they had suggested that he go to a support group. And he's like, why? Why would I do that? He's like, I woke up, I'm alive. Why would I need to? And that they had told him that it is very common for people who've had some kind of heart surgery for their personality to change and just different things like that. And I'm like, that's odd. I mean, I can understand somebody facing their own mortality, that type of thing. Because that he has died, he's had several near-death things.
If you have heart surgery, don't you technically die?
Yes, in some ways you do.
So then that's what it is. All these people are dying and they come back and they're like, shit, I'm back here.
Well, that could be. But I had wondered about I had heard a long time ago about the heart having its own electromagnetic field, and would surgery disrupt that? Even as far as cutting into the heart or anything, would that somehow get that out of balance?
It could. It very well could.
And so for a long
Actually,
time...
I think it does.
For a long time, this was in the, considered woo-woo. Is part of New Age bullshit stuff, is how a lot of people viewed it.
Woo-woo.
Yeah.
Ooh, woo-woo.
And this is something that Gregg Braden has talked about and been talking about for years. And so he's great. If you he's got a YouTube channel and stuff, so you can go and check out his work. And there's other people's work that's on there. I was trying to remember the doctor's name that I have watched also in addition to him. And so people have a tendency to discount these things, or have for years, but now we have the science to back it up.
Because we have the technology.
Yeah. And so this first article comes from Psychology Today and is called "The Heart's Electromagnetic Field is Your Superpower." And this was written by Jessica Morales, and it was posted November the 29th of 2020, and then it was reviewed, and of course links will be in the description box. And so just skimming through here on this, she says that research is proving that the heart may be as intricate as the brain, and it's referred to as the little brain. Now, when we go back in history, even as far as the Egyptians and stuff, the brain was of no value to them because it was one of the things that wasn't even mummified. That they would
turned into brain soup.
Right, they drained it out of the skull, which was a very interesting procedure.
Yeah.
So, but the heart in history is referred to over and over and over in many cultures. And when did we lose that knowledge? So, the heart brain actually sends more communication to the head brain than the other way around. The heart beats before the brain forms, and of course this is in utero. When the brain is dead, the heart continues to beat so long as it has oxygen. And that's, if you've ever been near somebody at the time of death and they're hooked up to an EKG machine, it's very unnerving.
Brain dead.
Because there will still be a little bit of a rhythm. And you're like, are they really out? Are they really gone? And so that explains why that does that.
And are they really gone then?
Well, they've just transitioned. But
like if the brain dies but the heart keeps on going, what is the spirit still there, or?
No, I don't think so. I think it goes with breath.
So what if it's actually the brain that holds the spirit and not the...
Well, now I know that in I think it was Hindu culture that where they cremate the people, and that is the eldest son's responsibility. Now this is, I haven't thoroughly researched, so you'll have to research on your own and validate that the oldest son, it is his responsibility to go and basically crush the skull to release the soul.
Huh.
Yeah. So the heart has 40,000 neurons and the ability to process, learn, and remember. It also has its own emotions. And thanks to the field of neurocardiology, we're learning more about the intuitive nature of the heart. The Heart Math Institute has been leading research related to the heart-brain coherence. And research director Dr. Roland McCready has stated, quote, "Coherence is the state when the heart, mind, and emotions are in energetic alignment and cooperation. It is a state that builds resilience," end quote. When the parasympathetic and the sympathetic system are out of sync from emotions such as anger, anxiety, or frustration, this produces an erratic rhythm or a incoherent state. The brain receives this input, which affects whether higher cognitive functions are accessed to self-regulate. I think mine's been out of rhythm for a minute, for real.
Yeah, probably.
Now, positive emotions such as compassion and love generate a harmonious pattern in the heart's rhythm, leading to coherence and greater emotional regulation. When harmonious interactions exist among the body's system, this is referred to as psychological coherence. As this increases, so does the brain's alpha activity, which supports stress relief and creativity. This calmer yet focused state improves learning, making better choices, and expanded view of options. Which makes sense because, like depression and anxiety and stuff, what happens? You can't see the options.
No.
That's part of the, the whole syndrome.
Yeah.
It says the upside is plentiful as to why we should increase our heart's harmony with an electrical component about 60 times greater and an electromagnetic energy field 5,000 times greater than the brain's. The heart has significant influence on the body down to the cellular level. The brain's rhythms, along with respiratory and blood pressure rhythms, entrain with the heart's rhythm. This is the optimal state for human functioning. The heart's energy is said to reach about 3 foot outside of the physical body and can be detected in another person sitting nearby via an ECG, which is an electrocardiogram.
Wow.
That's the reason that as far as somebody's energy field, if they got nasty energy, that's why you can feel it. So again, that's not just woo-woo. The potential of how far our heart's electromagnetic field can reach continues to be studied as technology plays catch-up. Additional benefits of heart-brain coherence include reduction in stress, adaptability to change, psychosocial well-being, higher cognitive capacity, performance improvement, resilience/problem solving, mental clarity / emotional stability, access to intuition and creativity, regenerative process / anti-aging. And those are the things that most of us are seeking.
Yeah. So all we need to do is be aligned.
Yeah. And it says, how can we increase heart coherence? And as the brain is able to be retrained through neuroplasticity, so can the heart. In the same way we rebuild mental habits, we can develop new heart habits. Whatever the heart informs the brain responds accordingly. So, again, it's people have got that backwards. It's not what you think. It is from the heart. Yeah. It takes...
It's what you feel.
To a degree. I mean, it's a matter of it's not just about the emotions per se. It's what you feel. It is a matter of going through there. Is this a valid emotion? Am I over-responding? Why do I feel the way that I feel? Because we've got so many that are emotionally immature right now, and they're all up in their fifis because their head's up their ass. For real.
Fifis. Yeah, a lot of people, it's purely, they drive purely on emotion rather than logic, and it's
yeah.
You need a healthy balance with that.
Right. You certainly do. And it takes changing what we have hardwired in the communication exchange between the heart and the brain and between the neurons in the heart, just like rewiring the communication between neurons in the brain. If it has become the norm for the heart to feel chronic stress or anger, it is accustomed to communicating this to the brain. The brain triggers the body's response in the form of stress hormones, constricted blood vessels, increased blood pressure, chronic inflammation, and basically makes the heart work harder. Putting the heart through constant emotional distress disrupts the body's balance and can lead to physical disease. This is Louise L. Hay. She has been saying this since the 70s. I mean, I think she passed right now, but she had been saying that since the 70s.
You've been trying to get me to listen to her for a long time.
Yeah. It says, as many have said, happiness is a choice, and so is the sustainable joy.
Sustainability.
That doesn't mean that you don't respond to situations that are stressful or hurtful or anything like that. It is a matter of honoring those emotions, feeling those emotions, and then moving beyond that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they will fight you to stay stuck.
Yep. Don't reminisce on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
the negative shit.
If you are ruminating.
That's what I meant.
There are things that you have still not processed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go in counselor mode, aren't I? And it says, by increasing awareness of what we are feeding the command center, we can be intentional about what we allow in. Control your inner environment.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some steps to stimulate positive emotions for greater heart-brain coherence, such as bring focused attention to your heart. And you can do this by placing your hands over it for a physical connection. And Gregg Braden, I know one time he was talking about, or I think it was him, I'm going to attribute it to him, kids. That when you ask them, it's like, who are you? And that they will automatically put their hand on their heart, and it's like, I'm B. And that, what do we do as adults? We stop that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you and I were talking yesterday about kids moving their bodies and just, that joy of movement.
Yeah, noodle body.
Yeah. And that adults will say, stop that.
What was it? I was doing this welcome
Yes.
Squidward's Tiki Land thing, whatever it was, and I was doing a weird little dance to it.
Yes. And I always encourage that because the body needs to move. Mm-hmm. And that what we're doing now as far as being sedentary, that sit down, shut up, I'll tell you what to think, is destroying our world.
Yeah. That's why I hate the modern school system. I really hate that, and it's worse now.
Yeah, it really is. Well, that's by design.
It's literally jail for kids, but they didn't do anything.
Right. Oh, sure they did. They helped destroy your own spirit. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like it's jail for kids, but the kids didn't do anything.
Right.
They didn't do anything to deserve it.
Well, and the parents. This was where it was a false belief that the kids were there to be educated. Mm-hmm. And they were there to be indoctrinated.
Yep.
And damn the ones that did this.
But now if you don't enroll your kids in some sort of school, you'll get put in jail.
Yes, but there are options.
Homeschooling is one of them.
Homeschooling is definitely one of them. Another one of the ways to stimulate positive emotions, Dr. Andrew Wheel's 4-7-8 breathing, relaxing breath technique. And there's lots of other of the breathing techniques, so you can research and find what works for you. But this one is to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale slowly with a whooshing sound for 8 seconds. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
And you repeat this 4 times, and this lowers your heart rate. Then bring to mind something that makes you feel love, joy, or thankfulness.
What happens if you make the noise of a Skeksis? What was his name? That one in specific. What if you make that one's? Does
it amuse you?
Oh, it amuses the hell out of me.
Well, there you go. It says you can also create this in your imagination, such as spending time with a child, a pet, or in spiritual presence. You can amplify positive emotions that come forth, such as amusement, hope, or inspiration. You can give them happy or soothing colors. Allow a smile to form as you savor the moment. I mean, if one of your joys in life is a cheese sandwich, then sit there and visualize the cheese sandwich, how the bread feels, the smell of the cheese sandwich, the taste of the cheese sandwich.
You made me wonderful cheese sandwiches yesterday.
So it doesn't have to be extravagant. People have a tendency to overthink things. All right, visualize sending these feelings which is the input from your heart to your brain. Be as creative as you'd like, sending a picture of them as healing light energy or shooting stars as your brain tingles. And see, people are like, oh, that's bullshit. Try it. Before you totally throw it out of the ballpark, try it.
Mm-hmm. Truly try it. Don't just half-ass it.
Yeah, I mean, if one of your joys is a glass of beer, same thing. Think of how you feel when you're enjoying that glass of beer.
Wow.
And expand to other areas of your body, including cells and organs. Notice how they respond. Perhaps your cells are now vibrating with that energy of joy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I have been trying to do, in addition to taking an herbal blend for the kidney stone, I am not giving medical advice, it's just what I'm doing, is also to visualize the thing sort of like an Alka-Seltzer in water. You know how that just dissolves?
The fizzy, yes.
The fizzy, that's what I'm,
I like the fizzy.
It ain't going to hurt nothing if I'm trying this. All right, if the preference is not to focus on controlled breathing or to bypass some of the steps above due to time, simply bringing up positive emotions that invoke calm through the heart space will cause coherence. Studies show that a prayer of gratitude or heartfelt love also increases cardiac coherence. So a lot of these spiritual practices that people have tried to teach others for some thousands of years, there was a basis of it.
Yeah.
And it says repetition is the key to making these things familiar to the brain as to the heart. Doing any variation of these exercises right before bedtime can lead to deeply restful and restorative sleep as it clears out concerns.
You and I both need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Both purposeful, or it says be purposeful, about what your final thoughts are before you go to sleep. And that's what I was telling you. There's a little Buddhist guy that I have been listening to occasionally, and that's what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. To sit there and just go through not what you have to do tomorrow, not what you didn't accomplish on any given day, but to think about the things you did accomplish. They don't have to be huge.
No.
Did you get up and put your clothes on? Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your hair? Did you feed the cat? Did you do any of these things? Those are accomplishments. And people discount that.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. So learn to focus on those. Now we can ask, can another person's negative heart energy affect yours?
Yes.
Well, I just try if somebody's got that energy, I get the hell away from them if at all possible. It says when we are in a highly coherent state, when we're in harmony with ourselves, we're less likely to be affected by another's negativity. And in fact, we can disrupt the incoherence in another person, who is then susceptible to external influences. Because when we are in a bad space, that's when, shit seems to be hitting from all over. But when you've got a positive person, mm-hmm. that they can come in and they can actually disrupt that negativity. So I think that's pretty nice. Cool.
Yeah.
And then we have from Wikipedia, it explains a little bit. I'm going to try not to butcher this. The graphy part is what screws me up at the end of this. It's magnetocardiography. And
Magnetocardiography.
Just sit there with your bad self, why don't you? And this is a technique to measure the magnetic fields produced by electrical currents in the heart using extremely sensitive devices such as the superconducting quantum interference device, the SQUID. I love that they named it the SQUID. If the magnetic field is measured using a multi-channel device, a map of the magnetic field is obtained over the chest. From such a map, using mathematical algorithms that take into account the conductivity structure of the torso, it is possible to locate the source of the activity. For example, sources of abnormal rhythms or arrhythmia may be located using the MCG, which is good, but it also, that's the proven that, this stuff actually is.
Yeah.
And then the last article we have, I thought all this goes together. And it's by the Cleveland Clinic, and it's called Broken Heart Syndrome. Now,
that is an actual thing.
It is an actual thing. A broken heart syndrome is a temporary and reversible heart condition whose symptoms mimic those of a heart attack. Unlike a heart attack, broken heart syndrome happens when a sudden physical or emotional stress causes a rapid weakening of the heart muscle. And broken heart syndrome is also called stress cardiomyopathy, or I'm going to try this one, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. And Takotsubo is the Japanese name for an octopus trapping pot with a wide bottom and narrow neck. The pot resembles the shape of the distressed left ventricle of the heart seen in broken heart syndrome.
Nice.
So we've got squid theme going on here.
Yeah.
And what kinds of emotional and physical stress can cause broken heart syndrome? And that's such as grief from the death of a loved one or other large or meaningful loss, such as divorce, relationship, job, home, money, or a beloved pet. Good news can cause broken heart syndrome, which I thought was very odd. And this can be surprise parties, winning the lottery. Of course, it can include bad news, intense fear, which can also be like public speaking, an armed robbery, a car accident, and extreme anger. Now, anger will wipe out your immune system for days after you've had like a, outburst or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember that. And it says examples of sudden physical stressors that can bring on broken heart syndrome include severe pain, an exhausting physical event, and health issues including asthma attack, difficulty breathing, seizure, stroke, high fever, low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, large blood loss, or surgery. And we can understand how all that can go in with fear.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it says, can you die from broken heart syndrome? It says, although death has happened, it's an extremely rare event. It's about 1% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, there have been people literally that have died because of a broken heart.
Sure. People, and I think that some think that's allegory. No. We can see even within that, as far as the fear response, people being scared to death, that very well could go into that, be that factor also.
That has happened before.
Yeah. So that's sudden. So
it shocks your heart, man.
Sure it does. It's not only shocking your heart, it's shocking your mind. And that's what they said, what affects the heart goes on to affect everything. So it's not just about brain power, it's about heart power. And while I was researching this, and this was interesting because Jace Jacobs, he is one of the most positive people online, and I will put a link to his channel. And Jace seems like such a good guy. And he always has an upbeat, positive message. He does these wonderful little poems. And I had watched I try to watch all his.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and he will respond to people, his comments and stuff. And so sometimes I don't get notifications, or sometimes they get lost in the, laundry list of notifications. It's never that I don't intend to watch somebody's video. And so I had watched his yesterday, and it was just what I had needed to hear. And it may have been this morning. It was one, short period of time. But he is such a healing individual. Yeah. So I'll have to send him a little something to go, this one's dedicated to you, Jace.
Yeah.
and he's a little crinkle.
Crinkle?
Yeah, he pulls.
Crinkle?
Sometimes when he first started, there were people that he would, I don't know, just different themes, and that he would do this impromptu creating a poem. And so he had his little jar of notes that he would pick from, but sometimes he wears a bandana. And so sometimes he'll have the suggestion up in the bandana, and he'll pull that one down, and it's a little crinkle. And yeah, he's a very healing individual.
Have you shown him to me before?
I think I have. I think I have. So, yeah, that heart intelligence, I think at this point in life, all of us need to retrain our hearts.
A lot of us do.
Yeah. So it's not all woo-woo. When you hear some of these people, yeah. And I have been, for whatever...
Heal your heart.
Heal your heart. Heal yourself. The Louise L. Hay book was You Can Heal Your Life. And as far as a smattering of the different pseudoscientists, I think is how they're relegated. It was a book and a movie that came out quite a few years ago, and it's called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yeah.
And the movie is great. The book is great. It does introduce you to some of these people, like Gregg, Braden, and oh my God, what was his name that we do the meditations about space. Do you know where your ass is in space? He doesn't really say that. That was
I wish he would. I wish he would. I would do that. I will do. Just you watch one day. You'll see a thing. It's going to be a parody of him. Do you know where your ass is in space?
But he really does have really cool meditations, and I have done his meditations in the past.
Feel as your intestines squirm as you strain. It's going to be a version of Be Your Own Dentist.
Oh my God! One of these days we're going.
Have you ever listened to it in full? I know you couldn't.
No, because I have dental phobia and it makes me stressful.
You thought. I knew it wasn't going to just be me. You thought you could make it through. You were like, yeah, let me see. No,
that's not my thing on that. One of these days we are going to do an ADHD ASMR. We really are.
The wrenching.
No.
Pliers.
We're supposed to be de-stressing people. You increasing people's, So, good stuff.
Good stuff.
I mean, it's interesting. It does go into the field very much of the supernatural, paranormal. And youngest kid had said the other day, are these things actually, bless?
Yes.
Are they actually paranormal?
Yes.
They are by today's definition.
Yes, they are.
They are normal. It's just that we have closed ourselves off so much that we no longer see and understand and know what's around us.
I know what's around me. It's dander. It's allergens. It's all around my...
He petted a dog, and
it was a puppy, and it came up on our yard. How was I not supposed to pet it? How was I not? I don't give a damn if I'm allergic. I will suffer.
You are suffering.
I am suffering. I am suffering. I got it on the floor. And I was like, oh God, and I'm having to wipe it up, and it's smeared, and I'm like, oh.
No, people are trying to have coffee. Don't go into the details of that.
I didn't say what it was.
No.
I didn't say what it was. You laughed. You laughed.
I thought it was hilarious. Of course, I have a kind of twisted sense of humor, too. But anyhow, so that's it. Your heart brain rather than your head brain.
Yes. Don't forget the gut.
That's true as far as neurotransmitter, and that there were different things like that. It is produced in the gut.
Yes.
So some of the medications and supplements do not have to cross the blood-brain barrier because of that.
Mine's been out of whack for about 2 weeks.
But we're trying to get yours back into alignment, and you're doing much better.
Yes. Now I got tissue stuffed up my nose.
He's trying.
I'm trying.
He has done so well considering, I mean, God love him. He's been sneezing and going on for about 3 hours or more.
Yeah.
It's been crazy for him. So, if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, information about different forms of healing, knowledge is best shared. If you've got local, regional, family, myths, legends, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. That email address is also in the description box. Know that you're loved.
Yeah.
And when we tell you all this, we mean that. It's not just this random glib bullshit something.
No.
If you need prayers, if you need someone to talk with, send us an email.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So we'll talk with you.
Listen, I may not respond to most of the comments, if any. Oh, no.
Give me a second.
He's trying. I was so close to finishing. We were so close to finishing.
Give me good allergy medication recommendations, please.
But now, if you want to talk specifically to youngest kid, he will respond to you. You know.
Yeah. I'm a lurker. I don't really talk. That's it.
I'm just a lurker most of the time. I'm too scared of people most of the time.
Oh, bullshit. Then get over that. Get over that. It depends on the people.
Yeah.
So.
But if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and blow your nose. Click that little notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Hopefully I won't be snotting and sneezing the whole time.
And stay away from the allergens. It is.
I had no choice. I
It
needed
is
to clean.
spring. It is
I needed to
spring.
clean. I needed to clean.
Anyhow, you all have a beautiful, blessed day, and we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.
Help me. Help. Can I get a nose job for no drippy nose? Please? Nose screens. That can be a thing.
I think it's called stuffing tissue up your nostril.
I mean, you got a point there. Never mind.
Cottage industry.
Nose
Bye.
screens. Bye.